G'day there, Taki here. I hope you are ridiculously well. In today's session, I want to show you how to design an epic workshop for your clients, whether it's in person or it's online, really similar format, a couple of tiny tweaks, but this is the structure that make it easy for you to deliver an incredible experience, an incredible learning experience, and a transformational experience for your clients without killing yourself. So let me just set up a mistake that I think that most coaches make when it comes to designing these things. So imagine you've got a group of your clients coming in for a day or 2 days or 3 days. And the very first workshop I ever ran, I had something like 500 slides for day one, which took a lot of freaking work, to be super clear. It took a lot of work to design. But the second thing that was the problem was the experience live in the room. I want you to think about every time you teach something as to try to inspire people, is you like exhaling, knowledge, value, wisdom, content. And so if this is you at the start of a day, you take a big breath in, and then you teach them as much as you can, and then you teach them a bit more, and then a bit more, and a bit more, and a bit more, and a bit more, until you're out. It's exhausting. You end up at the end of the day with nothing left. And then if you flip it and you go, what's it like to be in the audience of that? This is you in the audience. They teach you some stuff and you breathe it in, and a bit more, 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 and a bit more. Pretty soon you're full and you can't take any more, and this is so good, but I really want more, but I just can't take it in. And it's hard. So we want to get this balance right, where the whole workshop can breathe, so you're not exhausted and they're not full. Okay? And the best way I can think about explaining this is with this effort experience ratio. If you think about the effort you put in designing and delivering and the experience they have, the workshops I used to run at the start and maybe the workshops you run today were down here, lots of effort for me, and their experience, like the stuff was good, but it wasn't amazing. It was really, frankly, it was really grueling. And the workshops we run now are completely different to that. They are much further down the other end of the spectrum, and they're fueling, both for me and for them. And all we've done is we've taken this line, both in terms of prep and delivery, and we're kind of down here now. It certainly takes a little bit of effort to deliver, but the experience is extraordinary for our clients. And I just want to give you this same gift. So if it's okay with you, going to go deep on this, get it done as quick as we can. I want to give you some stuff that's really going to make a big, big difference. I want to give a shout out to a great friend of mine, an early mentor called Matt Church, who once said that the secret to running a great workshop is to make them work harder than you do. And the way you do that is with intentional design and some choreography through the experience. So I don't know where you're working too hard in your workshop design or delivery, but hopefully we'll fix that today with 5 big ideas. Here's the first one. When you run a workshop, it should always be everyone's turn. If it's only your turn, it's boring. If you run one of those, some people run these masterminds where there's like 30 people in a room and one by one you hot seat each person for half an hour over a day or 2 or 3. Dude, it's fine for the person whose turn it is during their turn, but it's incredibly boring for the rest of the people the rest of the time. And it's just a terrible use of time. It's like I used to run kids' parties. The one activity we never ran was a relay race because there was a lot of standing around and a little bit of activity for each person. We want to flip that and make it always everyone's turn. One of the ways we do that is by mixing the delivery circles. In other words, the way that we design the activity should be designed so that each session, not only should each topic be different, but the format should be different so that it feels different every session. It's not like, okay, here we go again with topic number 2, turn to page 1, blah, 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 blah. We want to mix the delivery circles, and I'll give you like 9 or 10 delivery circles in a couple of minutes. As we design the event itself, we want to design for energy. And so if you think about your first session, first thing in the morning, energy is going to be naturally good, but we've got to kind of ramp people in. After lunch, energy is going to be a little bit low. So we want something where they're doing more work and talking together instead of you doing the work and you doing the talking, if that makes sense. We want to deliberately design for energy, and I'll give you some choreography, some kind of session formats for different times of the day. Especially if you're working online, like an online workshop, a Zoom workshop, hire a host and huggers has been super big for me. That means that you can be the presenter, the talent, but somebody else is hosting, so their job is to drive the technology, with music and setting up the breakout rooms and reading the chat. And huggers have been amazing. Huggers are team members in the chat who are messaging people all through the day. When I was running in-person events, I had when the events were a little bit smaller, my performance standard was by the end of the event, I had to have physically connected with, like a hug or a tap on the shoulder or whatever, and some eye contact and a short conversation with every single person in the room, so that every person felt seen and heard. And when you're on Zoom, that's like, at least in my experience, that's been much, much harder. And so we've got some huggers, and the hugger's job is to message every client each day a couple of times to make sure they're kind of, to check in, make sure they're getting it and picking up what we're putting down. Hire a host, and some huggers will make a big difference. Fifth big idea. Play the missing C. Every great coaching program, every great event has some content and some coaching and some community. And typically, when we're in workshop mode or training mode, we focus on content and coaching and we ignore the community. And the big secret to our events has been that about 40% of the event is run by clients, and maybe 60% of the event is deliberately designed where the clients are working together. Okay? That way, we're bigging up the community aspect. People will come for your content, they'll win because of your coaching, but they'll stay because of the community. And we want to bake that into the event. And I think there's an opportunity when you've got everyone together to do some stuff that you can only do when we're all together. Okay, so that's 5 big ideas. Let's get into the design here. By the way, if you want a copy of the client workshop designer that I'm about to walk you through, just comment workshop below. If you're watching this on YouTube, link will be in the description and I'll hook you up. So when you think about goal of every great workshop, this is your 4 goals. Vertically, between you and the audience, we've got focus. Are we teaching the right, we focused on the right things at the right time? In other words, have we picked the right topics? And then secondly, learning. Are we teaching in a way that people get it and ideally can get it done? I don't want to fill people's head with knowledge. They're already busy and they're taking a day or 2 out of their life to come spend it with you. Instead of like learning a bunch of stuff and then going off to, with a, inspired, but with a big fat to-do list that they'll never get around to, can we get as much of the stuff done live in the room as we possibly can? So either, on a spectrum, if this is, I've got a great idea, and this is, I've got the great idea and it's completely implemented, can we get to there, or at least here, at least get the thing started with enough momentum and the following steps are simple so that it's easy to just finish the job. So, vertically, we've got focus. Are we teaching the right things? Learning, are we doing it in a way that gets people to done as quickly as we can? And then horizontally, socialization. Are people making friends? And how do we deliberately design it so that they do? And then collaboration. Can we get clients working together, helping each other out? And if we do those 4 things, I think we're doing it really, really well. So focus and learning is you to them. And then socialization and collaboration is them to each other. In the old days, we'd have a 2-day event, day 1, day 2, lunchtime, morning tea, afternoon tea, 90-minute blocks, 30-minute break for morning tea and afternoon tea, hour or an hour and a half for lunch, kind of 9 to 5. And we'd pick a topic. So to be, say, let's build a webinar. And so we'd have a hello session where we'd kind of set up the thing, the overview of the content, the offer, the content itself, and then we'd build the landing pages and the promo and the follow-up email. And over the course of 2 days, we'd have the whole thing done and we'd land with buy. It was amazing. Super, super good. Frankly, kind of exhausting for the clients. And great if you needed the webinar, not so useful if you didn't. I mean, it was entertaining, but not as good. So then we switched to a different model where, so this is version 2.0, where we'd have a 2-day workshop. On day 1, we'd follow a similar format. We'd build a thing in a day. And then day 2, we'd keep it broad. We'd do something attract, something convert, something deliver, and then we'd leave with a plan. Day 1 took a lot of work to design. Day 2, much, much easier because it was just kind of 3 useful but random topics. And people love day 2 better, which blew my mind and kind of hurt my feelings. So now an event looks like this. 3 half days, typically on Zoom, although in person, same format. 3 half days is really nice, so then we can have fun in the afternoon. And we'll have a hello session, which we can talk about another time. There's going to be 2 trainings, one here and one at the start of day 2 when the energy is nice and good. End of the day, breakouts. In breakouts, we split people typically into 3 groups. In this case, it's kind of 10 to 30K a month, 40 to 60K a month, and 70K plus, but kind of 3 different breakouts, each with a particular topic, so it's useful for them. We're not teaching stuff that's too advanced and the beginners get lost, and we're not teaching beginner stuff and the advanced people get bored. It's always everyone's turn. Here we have a mastermind where clients are in groups of 6, coaching each other and helping each other out, and there's a format for it. Our plan runs, some setup on day 2, and then we land the plane and finish the plan on day 3. And then here we've got Sensei sessions where we handpick 4 amazing clients who are incredible at what they do. And each of them will do like an 8-minute in the front of the room, like a TED talk, but basically here's the best thing that we're doing in terms of attract or convert or deliver or scaling our business. 8 minutes in front of everybody. and then we have a quick break, and then there's 4 breakouts. People get to choose which one of those 4 sessions they want to deep dive into. And so I just want you to have a look at this map for a second and notice a couple of things. Firstly, every session's got a different format, which is engaging and fun. Every session's got a different topic, so it's engaging and fun. But in terms of your prep or my prep, I'm going to build one killer session, and this could be session number 2, or it could be a guest speaker. And the rest, team will drive 2 out of 3 of those. I'll run the 70K plus. Clients run these ones. Clients are masterminding here, and this is process, so it's the same each time. Remember, the goal is easy to design, easy to deliver, incredible experience for your clients. And so what I want to do is just kind of break down some of the formats for this session. And by the way, if you want to get a copy of the book, comment worksheet below, and I'll hook you up. Again, the hello session, we've got 3 days here, day 1, day 2, day 3. These are typically about an hour long. Some are a little shorter, some maybe an hour and 10 with short breaks. If we're on Zoom, 10-minute breaks is plenty. Hello session. We're going to celebrate wins we've had. We're going to preview what's coming up over the next few days. And I'm going to do the State of the Union, which is, where have we been? Where are we at right now? And where are we going across content and coaching and community? Give people a kind of a sense of here's where we're going as a company and here's what's coming up for you. Then we've got Teach 1. Day 2 is probably either Teach 2 or a guest speaker, your choice. Breakouts. So in a breakout, you want to choose what are the most useful splits for people to break out into. And it could be by topic. We're going to do a marketing session and a sales session and a delivery session, or whatever your top 3 areas would be. In our case here, we do belt breakouts so that people at different levels get topic designed that's going to help them get to the next level quickly and not waste people's time with topics which aren't useful for them. So they run workshop style, a little bit of a teach, 10 minutes of training, 50 minutes of do, debrief at the end, breakout, everyone comes back and shares their lessons. Let's talk about day 2. Day 2, guest speaker. So we go, what's a great topic? Who would be great at that topic? And have them do a sesh. Here we have mastermind, small group of 6 people. The job is in the setup. So every activity has a setup. You run the activity and then you debrief the activity. So setup is really about helping them find a $2,000 problem worth solving and frame it as a good question and get clear about their options so that when they get their 8 minutes in the mastermind, they can really specifically tell their problem fast and then get into the tactics and the answers. Here in our Zoom format, just because of we do plan 1 on this day and plan 2 on that day, and that's because day 3 is when our boardroomers come, and we want to make sure that the boardroomers get to do the Sensei sessions. Again, this is 4 quick topics: attract, convert, deliver, and scale, and then 4 breakouts. Attract, convert, deliver, and scale. And that's kind of an overview of a couple of days. In terms of the formats, I know I'm moving through this pretty quickly. Hopefully it's useful. A teach format, we're just going to use format for that. Why it matters, which is about connecting with their heart and getting them emotionally invested in learning the stuff. What they need to know, which is about kind of teaching their head what they need to know. How to do it, show them kind of what to do with their hands. And then now is tell their feet to march and get them moving. So heart, head, hands, feet. Get them rocking and rolling. Breakouts, again, you can choose your topics, your splits. You can do belt levels, kind of beginners, intermediate, and advanced, or you can do by topic. Either way is going to be great. And if you've only got, depending on the number of clients, you might have 2 breakouts or 3 or potentially 4. Guest speaker speaks for itself. I think I've given you an overview of a bunch of these kind of in the examples. So here's the big idea. When you run a client workshop, instead of trying to fill it with all the content, you'll always overestimate how much you can get done and underestimate how long things are really going to take. Your job is to design it so that we've got focus and learning, and that there's socialization, people are making friends and collaborating. And the big idea is exactly what we talked about at the start, where we're not at the end of the day exhausted from talking too much, and they're not full from trying to absorb too much. We don't want an event that's grueling. We want an event that's fueling. So this is kind of an overview of how we design and deliver a workshop so that they work harder than we do. They have an amazing time, and at the end of it, everyone leaves with more energy than when they started. And they don't leave with homework, they leave with the job done. Hopefully this is useful. If you want a copy of the handouts and the worksheets so you can follow along, particularly this page right here, and design out yours with the prompts around it, comment worksheet below. Hopefully this is useful. Take good care. Big love, and I'll talk to you soon.